Hi, it's Kathy. Welcome to my video blog. This is my weekly opportunity to take what I've blogged about, what I've posted about on Facebook, and kind of wrap it up with a call to action. This week on Facebook, I have talked about and tried to bust up a little bit the 4 myths and misconceptions about buying a house. Now, it's focused a little bit on first-time buyers, but it just is, for 20th-time buyers, just as important. The first myth is that it's cheaper to rent than to own, and that's just not true. Real estate has proven time and time again to be the most productive and best return on investment when held over time. And it's the number one way to really build your net worth. It also gets you into a community. It has you have an investment in that community. And I think you see the neighborhood that you live in and the space that you have a little bit differently when there's home ownership involved. The second myth is that it takes 20% down, and how am I ever going to save that? You know, here in Washington, D.C., a first-time homebuyer can be spending $400,000 or $500,000. And to save 20% of that can take a very long time, unless you're just eating ramen noodles. So there are a number of products, both government products and private mortgage company products, that allow you to get in at much lower down payments. There might be some mortgage insurance attached to it, but within a short period of time, you can refinance that loan and get rid of the mortgage insurance once you've hit 20% in equity. And so it's a long-term investment with some short-term solutions. So talk to a mortgage banker. And that's number 3 of the myths, that money is money. And I can just apply with an app and I can get money to, put into my bank account to be able to buy this wonderful house. It's not an app to beat the line at a coffee shop. It's when you're working to spend this kind of money and enter into a long-term contractual relationship, it's really important that you talk through people that are experts and to talk to them about positioning yourself best, getting the best interest rate, looking at it long-term in addition to short-term. And for that, a loan officer, either in a private mortgage bank or in a regular bank, is really the person that's going to help you do that. Sure, you apply online, but that's not where the relationship is built. The 4th myth, and this is the one that I love, is you don't need a realtor to buy. You can really look online, find some place, and then make an offer to the listing agent and really save some money because, they're not going to need to pay the other commission. That's not really how it happens, and busting up that myth is about not just the fact that the listing agent is there to advocate for the listing party, but that the buyer's agent is there to do just that level of advocacy for the buyers, to get the best deal, to be able to walk through what the contingencies are, how to position those contingencies strategically to really move a contract forward to get it ratified. And then once it's ratified, going through with you the inspection process and the whole appraisal process and getting it to closing. That's where you really get the benefit of working with a buyer's agent. You also have a lot of benefit, and I'm going to touch on this in a minute, in the search process in working with a buyer's agent. And I think people say, well, I'll find a place and then call a realtor. Well, sometimes the realtor can help you find a place that you would never be able to find on your own. So let's bust up those 4 myths, look at my Facebook page, and kind of talk to your, if you're a couple, if you're single, talk to your confidants about this and kind of work through for yourself to make sure that you feel comfortable with moving the process forward. Where I want to talk about right now is, especially for first-time buyers, but even for those that have bought before, what's the wish list versus reality? I love HGTV. It gives me great entertainment. But I think sometimes sets our expectations that everything has granite countertops and, a shower that you can hold a party in. And that's not necessarily true, and it's not going to be true for the first-time buyers. I think that wish list of doing a real brainstorming about all the things that you love in a home, 2 fireplaces, gas fireplaces, a 2-car parking, 2-car garage. In DC, if we have parking, I think that, we're really in good. Do you really need to have, 3 walk-in closets? Now, for some people, storage is more important than others. So that's where you kind of get to reality. I have a client who's in the news industry, and for her, closet space is a huge issue. So when you get to what are the things that are really the most important, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, the closets, the storage space, the neighborhood. And I think that it's the most important at the beginning to focus on the community you want to live in and how that community is going to work for you with commuting, with lifestyle, with transportation. If you're going to have kids in the next few years, where are the schools and what are those schools like? Is there public transportation nearby? Those are the pieces that when you look at reality, those are the ones. Another question is, do you want to get something that has a little bit of a fixer-upper to it and be able to build some sweat equity versus having something that's move-in ready? All of those issues, I think, are ones that are important to look at in terms of building a real list. So my call to action this week is for you to sit down, to do a wish list, which is everything you really want. You know, you could walk to work, versus reality. When you have with a mortgage broker and you do a pre-approval, which is where you have already applied for and are guaranteed to get financing for a certain level, so you know for sure what you can afford. Where does that measure up on the wish list versus reality? And to come work with a real estate agent to sit down and say, where are the neighborhoods that meet our criteria? Where are the houses? And where are they coming on the market in the next 6 months so that we can begin to look for them together and get at the head of the line and not just be looking at things that have been sitting on the market for a while. Wish list versus reality. That's the goal for this week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for listening.